What's up, everybody, to Fastlane weekend? Uh, recording at on Friday. Hopefully, I'll release this whenever, or not whenever, as soon as I'm done recording, so that way you guys can see my predictions coming this Sunday. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, it's kind of weird with all these. Although I'm not going to give my take from tonight's SmackDown because there's not much to it, considering all the cards are set in place except for whoever's going to be the enforcer during the Universal Championship match. Now, I have no idea what that means, because if either Jay or Edge gets involved, Roman wins because of DQ. So, and that kind of throws out Daniel Bryan. It's like, you know, if it was, special guest referee, that would make more sense. But special enforcer, pff, this is the first time I've heard that term before. So, let's get right into my picks as well as the cards for the Fastlane. First one up is the Universal Championship of Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan, as I mentioned before, with the enforcer of either Uso or Edge. Now, going with the odds, Reigns is a negative 700 point favorite, 700 negative 700 point favored win. Uh, well, shit. Honestly, I would like to see Daniel Bryan win. Just to see that happen. I would only because I would like to see Reigns lose and then somehow build back up after WrestleMania. But that's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna have to give this to Reigns because I think people want to see more Reigns versus Edge than Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Now I know Bryan said this is it. This might be his last. It might be. It might be, but we do know this is probably Edge's last WrestleMania before, he loses or, gives it up. Who knows? But still, I have to give it to Reigns so we can see, the WrestleMania Reigns versus Edge. Moving along, the Women's Tag Team Championship, Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler versus, did I say versus? And Shayna Baszler versus Belair and Banks. Now, in the I honestly I don't know what to think of this because this Friday tonight actually we have Jax versus Belair for the Women's SmackDown Championship. Banks is gonna win. I don't see Nia winning on account of she is on Raw, and I know with the belt she could go to both brands, but still, you can't just have somebody on the Raw roster go to SmackDown and just take the belt. So something's gonna happen. Pretty sure Reginald's gonna get involved and throw the match, what have you, and that probably gets him barred from WrestleMania ring. So I could definitely see the. Well, let me go to the odds first. So Baszler and Jax are a negative 300 point favorite to win. But I'm gonna have to give this to Belair and Banks because we didn't really get this with Banks and Bailey, but we definitely can get this with Belair and Banks going into WrestleMania as the tag team champs, and then them facing each other for the SmackDown Championship. So I think that's more box office than you know, the without the tag team belts. That's just me. That's just me. I don't like this whole, what what's his face? I just said it, Reginald. I mean, he's on the SmackDown brand. I'm surprised he wasn't on Raw because but hey, that's how it goes. Moving on along, the Intercontinental Champion Big E versus the new Apollo Crews. You know, African warlord, what have you. Uh where's it? So the favorite to win this is Big E. With minus 300. I'm you know I don't know. I really don't know about this one because I don't know what to expect going into Mania. Because if Mania wasn't on my mind, I say Big E would win. However, with WrestleMania, 4 weeks away, I think Apollo Crews would win, and then Big E would take it back at WrestleMania. Uh, but then again, I don't know. I don't know who he would face at WrestleMania. It might be, another triple with Sami Zayn in the mix. Maybe, maybe not. Uh, but but yeah, I would have to give this to Apollo Crews just to see a rematch at WrestleMania. Uh, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. I think hopefully this is the last time we see this. At least you know, leading up to WrestleMania. Maybe they'll go back at it after. I think Sheamus would win. Because due to the fact we just saw him in a DQ match, what was it, 2 Mondays ago? And it was a double knockout with no clear cut winner. And then we're going into Fastlane as a just straight up wrestle match, which is kind of downgraded in a way. But this one, we have Drew at a negative 550. Uh, him going against Bobby, I don't see him with a win going into the match. Uh, Drew, maybe, maybe not. Because, obviously Sheamus lost to Bobby last Monday. And for some odd reason, Drew won against Bobby, half a year ago at, I believe it was Backlash. But for some odd reason, everybody's mind was wiped on that match. So it's like, I find it a little weird. I'm like, that, Drew didn't mention, hey, I beat you at Backlash. I mean, I know Lana got involved, but still, I beat you at Backlash. And, everybody forgot about it, even Drew. So I would like to see Sheamus win this match, just to see a Drew having a loss going into WrestleMania as such. Speaking of which, I'm surprised Bobby didn't Claymore Sheamus just to pick up the win. How Drew put the Miz in the Hurt Lock earlier that evening. It would have been more poetic if he would have did the Claymore on Sheamus. Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. Now, I don't know what to expect on this, other than this is probably where the Fiend comes back. Hopefully, this is where the Fiend comes back, because we need the new improved Fiend for WrestleMania versus Orton, where Orton loses against the Fiend at Mania. Bliss is at a negative 200. So she's actually favored to win this up and coming match, by people betting. I don't know how, what happens when you bet on when there's no clear cut winner of this magnitude. I shouldn't say magnitude, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. As far as if the Fiend comes back, and the match just ends, no winner, no nothing like that. It just ends. Yeah, who? How does that? Do people get a refund on that? Whoever bet on this match. So I really hope Fiend comes back new. Like last time I did this, I said this is pretty much a new rebrand of the Fiend. Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman. I I honestly don't know what the writers and Vince is thinking, or if this is Shane's doing, and then his daddy just said rubber stamped it. Yeah, sure. I I really don't know. I thought Shane was a little too old to be doing this now. I thought he was pretty much primarily in, you know, background, doing his dad slowly every year doing his dad job up until, Vince is, all right, Shane, here's the keys, here you go. But I I don't know what to expect from this other than, Strowman beating the crap out of Shane. Yeah, there's not much for this other than, where is it? Braun is, you know, favorite to win by 150. Yeah, there's not much going on that match. So, yeah, there's really not much going on in this fast lane other than, the big ticket one is Reigns versus Bryan and, the women's tag team champion. Other than that, there's not much in fast lane. I wasn't expecting anything. I was hoping to see, uh, what's his name? Seth versus Cesaro, but I guess they're saving that for WrestleMania. But then again, what they did last week on SmackDown, Nakamura might get involved. I really don't want to see Nakamura and Cesaro teaming up versus Murphy and Rollins. I mean, he left. He's no longer a disciple. I don't know where they're going with that storyline. They should just keep it Rollins versus Cesaro and just have those guys go at it at Mania. Uh, yeah. So that is my picks. Those are the odds. Um, I'll run down the odds just in case. Uh, the odds I'm getting are from Bet Online at AG. So Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. Bliss is favored at 200. Randy Orton's the underdog at 150. Apollo Cruz versus Big E. Big E 300 favorite. Apollo Cruz 200 underdog. Braun is 150 favorite. Shane 110 underdog. Drew is 550 favorite. Sheamus is 325 underdog. Reigns versus Bryan. Reigns is 700 favorite with Bryan at 400 under. And tag team champions Baszler Jax 300 favorite with Belair and Banks with uh, 200 under. Uh, as of right now, Reigns is favorite to win against Edge at Mania at 140. Fave with Edge at 100 under. It's almost close. Almost not quite. Almost close to just pick 'em. pick it. Um, that'll be. I want to see where these numbers go close to the Mania, and then Belair versus Banks. Belair is a 300 favorite with Banks a 200 underdog. So yeah, there you have it. Clearly, once you know close to the Mania, I'll post another one of these, my picks, favorite, and then betting odds, what have you. So yeah, thanks for listening to the In Between Fastlane edition. Hopefully, we will record in 2 days' time with our next episode. Uh, Funny story. Last time we recorded with the camera for video, it died out. I haven't looked at it on account it died out because I don't think it recorded enough for just to post anything. But you never know. Maybe I'll get around to it, and it was enough, and I'll post a double episode on YouTube. But until then, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.